Cool. So this should all be working. I'll lower my mic down just a little bit so that it's not blowing out the audio. Cool. So we're going to start in R. And like I said, you guys need the hazard script. Make sure you guys are doing that. And then once we have
How do
your...
I empty the rest of the R script?
Okay, so how you empty the rest of the R script? What
Like
do you
on
mean?
the right side?
Oh, so
Yeah,
how
I
you do
still have.
that? You click this little broom up here. Somebody else taught me that, and it was really helpful. So if you want to clear out all the shit in this little area, click the broom up here, click yes, and it'll delete everything. So you can work from scratch every time. It's really helpful.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Cool. So what we're going to do is this is what the hazard script looks like. And what we're going to do is make sure to run the very first three lines. It's going to be the hazard survival and risk set F function. You're going to click run. And once you do that, it's going to pop up here on the right side. So you're going to see hazard, risk set, survival. These are the functions, so when we use these in the future, it's going to reference whatever this is and whatever we did up here. And if we get errors in the future because we're trying to run this and it says something's not found, usually your error is that you never ran this. So, okay, so Meyer 90 read CSV. We're going to change this. We're going to name it big. Actually, I don't think I can.
Wait, what lines do we run? Lines.
Which one?
Uh,
What are you talking about?
which line? Which lines do we run first?
So lines, you want to run lines 2 through 4. So you want to run the hazard, survival, and risk set F stuff. You want to run all three of these. Once you do it, it'll pop up in the right side, like I said. And also, you guys want to run this thing. Again, you can name this whatever you want. Big Booty Bitches is just what I'm naming it for this, just because why not? And also, I don't really want to put assignment 5 because it's pretty basic. But you can name it whatever you please. It doesn't really matter.
Are we gonna be attaching the national data or the state data?
We're not going to be attaching any data. So that's the only difference between this assignment and any other assignment we've done before. We do not attach data because we're going to be working with multiple data sets at the same time. But don't worry, it's not going to be too bad. Actually, I'm not going to name this Big Booty Bitches. I'm going to name this Bad Bitch after myself, you know. So cool. So what you're going to do is you're going to run the CSV file. Once you've named it whatever you like, you know, it's going to pop up this little thing. I'm going to go to downloads and I'm going to load in the state data that I created. Again, make sure to do the one that you created. Cool. So give me a second.
That's the one that starts with 2014 and ends with 2018.
Yeah, you'll know instantly if you loaded the right data or the wrong data. Like, you will know instantaneously, and I'll tell you exactly how you'll know that. But I'm trying to fucking figure
It's them up. Actually, now that I see them.
out. Yeah. So once you see, that's not.
Uh, I'm so sorry. I joined late, so I don't have the data yet. So can somebody mind to send me the Excel sheet that you created? I'll change it.
Yeah, if anybody could do that, that'd be very much helpful. If you don't want to put it in the school stuff, you can also email, or I mean, sorry, private message. That'll also be helpful.
Yes, please.
So I recommend that as well. If you just don't feel comfortable posting it in the big gigantic group chat, you could definitely private message. That'd be helpful. So we're gonna work here first with state data, not because of any particular reason. We're gonna work with both. I'm gonna say state data just because why not? So once you load up state data, you're gonna have 5 observations of 4 variables. You're gonna have year, firm's created, firm's death, or whatever else you named it as, and then you're gonna have the risk set right here. So then, whenever you load that, you're going to click on options and you're going to click run. Okay, apparently it didn't work for whatever reason there. Cool, so you're going to click options, you're going to run it. Okay, so now, M90 length. You just want to type in, it doesn't have to be M90. It could still continue with length, and you probably should keep length, but make sure to name it whatever you named your file as. So mine is bad bitch, as of myself. And also make sure n row is the same thing. Make sure it is the same one. So bad bitch. You're gonna run that, and then it's gonna pop up this little thing right here, and it's gonna say 5L, which is 5 length. That means the data goes down like 5 variables. So you have 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. That's the 5 length. So you're pretty much good right there. Cool. And now what we're gonna do is we can do this little risk set check. I didn't do this initially because I was a little confused and I had my data a little fucked up in the first place. So I'm, like I said, I'm going through this brand new with you guys again. I have my own like thing, and I'll teach you guys how to make your own script again and everything else, but it'll be very simple. So again, make sure to name this bad bitch or whatever your file name is. Again, delete the Meyer90 on this side, name it bad bitch. This is going to be, like I said, this is going to be where it gets really annoying and tedious, and if you get errors from running these lines, it's usually because there's some sort of error. So make sure wherever it says Meyer90 that you're changing it for whatever your file name is. And especially in this assignment.
Someone also send.
What was that?
If someone could also send me the data that we did, cause I think I did the inserts wrong.
Okay, no worries, no worries. So give me just 1 sec.
And then starting from line 16 and 17, we changed all of the Meyer90 to assignment to whatever we named ours.
Yeah, to whatever you named it. So just make sure to change that, and then we're also going to be changing a couple other things, but make sure, the biggest thing is to make sure you change all of the Meyer90 stuff completely over to whatever you named it. So just a second. Okay, so we want to, so California's risk set for the firms closing would be the number of year zero firms. Okay, so save as an Excel, compute the hazard. Okay, so cool. We don't really need to know that. So okay, so right here where it says failures, you're gonna want to make sure to type in firm death. Again, it might not be named firm death for you. It might be named something else. Don't stress out. You'll be fine. So you want risk set F. So you want R1, which is the. So you want the risk set. You're gonna be minusing the firm death. Theoretically, you basically should be checking it against this one, which should be firms. So sensors should be firms created, if I'm not crazy, but let me double check real quick. So 53, 329 minus 8755 minus 41,560. Okay. Give me just 1 second. We don't necessarily need this, but like I said, I'm just doing it to check. So we got a warning message. Numerical expression has 5 elements, only the first used. Bad bitch. So make sure to type in length right there, maybe. And then I'm gonna just retype this. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so pretty much this is just the check to make sure you're doing things right, and so far it looks like we're doing things right. Everything should be pretty much looking the same. Give me a second. Why did that do that? Okay. Cool. So now I know not to do that. Alright. What? Oh, that's risk set check. That's why. Okay, we're fine. Give me just 1 second real quick. Everybody take your time, make sure you got your data in. You don't really need to worry about this risk set check thing. Again, it's not necessary. If you did it along with me, that's perfectly fine. Don't feel bad. You're totally fine. If anything, it just helps gain a little bit of skill. But I just need to go to the restroom real fast, and then just make sure you get up to line 13 on the hazard script, and then I'll be right back.
Hi, I'm trying to work on the Excel right now for the risk set. Which column on the data that we're using? Anyone knows?
Or if anyone can just like send a picture of the data, the numbers.
Nobody's answering.
Yeah.
Can you guys, both of you, group message me and I'll send you the screenshots I have?
Thank you.
Babe, what was your name?
And who are you?
JF Bart 616.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, can I also message you? I think I might have copied or hidden one of my columns wrong, and I don't know how to unhide it. So
Yeah, mine is on Excel. Mine is on. I have a MacBook, so it never popped up on Excel. It pops up on numbers.
Yeah, but I only have the data that you'll need for script. I don't think we need to turn into Excel anyways.
If you guys check if you need help, someone posted the data that we're using for the state data and the national data, the .csv files.
Oh yeah, there you go. Someone posted it.
thank you.
Oh, I hate how mine's just open on Excel. Okay. Thank you.
Alright, cool. I am back. How's everybody feeling? Alright, crickets. We love that. Alright, so if everybody's gotten to where we have been so far, this is pretty much the next part. So we're going to go to the hazard function. This is going to be for part C. Now, you want to name this, like I said, again, for this part, you want to name it whatever you had it named initially. So Meyer 90 will change to bad bitch. Failures will change to firms failed or firm death, firm whatever, as long as it's the death or the fails. Risk set, you want to keep that unless you named the risk set something else, then you want to change that. Basically, the last thing you want to make sure to change is the name. Instead of Meyer 90, you want to type in bad bitch. So once we do that, we pretty much have our hazard function complete. We're going to click and we're going to run line 20, and that'll give us our hazard function. So it's going to pop up here on the right side, right over here. Everybody see that? Take that as a yes. Okay.
I got an error for mine.
So you got an error. What does your error say?
It says error in hazard value equals numeric parentheses 0. Replacement has 0 rows. Data has 5.
Okay. The next thing is make sure to run this stuff again, the hazard, survival, and risk set F function. Like, I know that's not really what it's saying exactly, but try to run that again. Make sure when you run that, and also, does your data over here, does any of it have zeros?
On the right side?
Yeah, on the right side. So right over here where it says year, firms created, firm death, all that stuff. Are any of these numbers 0?
No.
Cool. So once you run these hazard stuff again, try running that the hazard function.
Okay.
Let me know what it says.
For mine, on the hazard data on the third number, I have 0.135, but everything else is the same.
0.135. Interesting.
And yours is showing 0.113.
Cool.
But everything else is the same.
Interesting. So you said all of the data up here, everything, the firm's created, firm death, risk set. Don't worry about the risk set check. You don't need to worry about that one. But everything else is the same as well?
Yeah.
Wild. Okay, so then what that is kind of telling me is that this part right here for the hazard function, it might not be correct. So make sure that this is looking at the risk set and not the risk set check. And make sure that the firm death is firm death, or the firm failure is firm failure, or business died, or firm exited, whatever you want to put there. Make sure it's looking at that. And if you're doing all of that, the next best thing that I can really offer you, which isn't really that much fun, is to exit out of R completely. Do not save it, and then come back to R. It'll have everything in terms of this stuff, but it just won't have your data loaded in. So then all you're going to do is when you load back in, click the little broom, and then just restart up to this point, and it should give you the same thing. That's if this part doesn't fix it. If you've looked at this and this isn't working for you, and it's the exact same as just not doing it, then I would recommend a restart R. Just sometimes it's really weird because R just needs to be resetted at times. Like I really couldn't tell you, other than I've gotten errors, and once I restart, the error goes away. Yeah, it's really weird, but it tends to work.
Mine's still saying the same error though. The replacement has your rows.
Error, so yours says that. Interesting. Again, if yours is saying that, I don't really see why that would be a problem. Again, the only other thing that I could also offer you, try doing the same thing. Try exiting completely out of R, reloading it. Don't save it, but don't save it, reload, and then redo all of it, except for don't do the risk set check to both of you. Don't do that, and see where you're at. And if that's still occurring, then we have a little bit bigger problems. So, cool. But just so you guys know, this is all for C. So we have A, B, and C of the homework done. Now the next thing we need to do is compute the hazard function for the businesses nationwide. So this is the point where we load in our data for nationwide. And in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to take this little CSV thing. We're going to hit a big old copy on that, and we're going to paste it right down here. And I'm going to make sure there's a lot of space so you guys can see. So you want to keep the option. You want to keep that right there. Copy over the options. Copy over the length. And then lastly, copy over the hazard. We're going to rename this stuff, but this is just easy. Okay. So pretty much... Alright, so I'm just renaming things, don't really need to worry too much. I'll run you guys through it as well. I'm just doing it so that way I don't have to do it 5 times over. Cool. So, alright, so how are you two guys doing in terms of errors or anything else? Data's really not showing up correctly. Are you guys
for me, it started working.
It started working? Yeah, I told you, it's really weird.
I think what was wrong with mine was that the risk set was capitalized, and in my set values, I didn't have it capitalized.
Yeah. Dude, don't worry, man, because like I said, That shit happens all the time. I was looking at it and I was getting confused on this assignment too, so you guys are not alone. Don't think that I understand this shit first try, because it takes me a little bit of time.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. All right, so cool. So here's what we're gonna do. Again, once you copy all this stuff, you're gonna want to copy the read CSV file. You want to copy the options, copy the length, and copy the bad bitch hazard, or the hazard function thing. Once you do that, you're gonna have it copied, and you're gonna rename everything. So for bad bitch, I put bad bitch Nat. So you can think of Nathan, you can think of Nathaniel, you could think of Natalie, you could think of any person that's named Nat. Or you could just not think of a person at all and just think national. That's up to you. I just put bad bitch Nat just because it makes it a little bit distinctive. If you want to name it something completely different for national data, feel free. Don't feel limited to only naming it the same thing, but just put Nat in front of it. You also could name this one, when we put it into our own script, you can rename everything. You don't even have to keep what you're doing it now. So you could put state, hazard, whatever. Anyway, once you rename it, run this file, and then you're gonna look for the, you wanna make sure to look for the one that you did. So you're gonna look for the national data that we made earlier this morning. Once you do that, you're going to get the same thing of 5 observations for 4 variables. You're going to make sure to click options. You're going to also do the length. And then, again, make sure all the names are named the same. Once you name this file, I put bad bitch Nat, make sure bad bitch Nat length. And then when you have n row, bad bitch Nat hazard, bad bitch Nat firm death, etc., etc., etc. Make sure all of that stuff is the same. Once you do the length, you're going to get 5L as well. It's the same thing. That rhymed. I'm Dr. Seuss. Nice to meet you. But once you get the hazard, again, you're going to run that. And if you pop open this, the only thing that's different between these, this says 6 variables, this says 5 variables. Don't freak out. This doesn't have risk set check for the national. You do not need risk set check. You can completely delete that line of code if it's confusing for you. It's not needed. It's purely just of like ease of mind, but you do not need to worry. Cool. So once you have the hazard, we're completely done with A through D on the A through D for the homework. Now we're moving on to part E, which is plotting. Okay, so the thing you're going to want to copy and paste is you're going to copy this part right here that says install packages ggplot2 and library ggplot2. You want to copy that, paste it, and you're going to want to run that before we start going into more. You can let it do its thing. It'll start running. It'll pop up on a bunch of shit. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. And then what we want to do is we want to look at, let me look. Okay. So you want to copy this first thing that says plot Meyer hazard. Copy that whole set of text, paste it. We're going to edit this quite a bit, but we're good. So we're going to do so instead of Meyer, you can name it whatever you want. I'm going to put Nat and state. Again, you can name it whatever you like. Just as long as you name it something that's going to make sense. The only reason I'm putting Nat and state is because we're going to be combining the graphs. We're going to plot the hazard functions for California on the same graph as the nationwide stuff. So that is the pure reason that I'm naming this Nat and state, and I'll show you how we're going to do everything. But that's basically why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm also going to copy this geom line thing, create an extra line, and I'm going to put it at the top instead. You don't necessarily need it down here. It's not the end of the world if you have it down there. I'm also going to go down another line, hit tab, paste it again. You just want to make sure it's tabbed so that all these line up the same way. Cool. So the next thing I will make sure to tell you guys, you don't have to keep it at the top. I just did it for personal preference. Make sure if you do put it at the top, or if you add, because you need 2 of these lines, so you're going to need 2 geom line data things. Make sure for the top one, make sure to add a plus sign. Same thing for this. If you put it on the top, both of them need a plus sign. Then you need to delete the plus sign down here by the labels that I made. So the label for the title, delete the plus sign at the very bottom one, but make sure every one above that has a plus sign. Otherwise, you will get errors and it will not work, and it'll be a bitch and a half. For X lab or for X label, instead of week, just put year. Keep it inside the parenthesis, or keep it inside the quotation marks, I'm sorry. You can keep hazard rate the same because hazard rate is what we're measuring. For the title, it doesn't really matter. You can just put, like I said, you could put nat and stat, nat and state, nat and whatever. You could put state and national. You could put national, state. It doesn't matter what you put. It doesn't even have to be the same as this. I put the same as that just because I personally wanted to. You can name it literally anything you'd like. Now we're not there yet. We're going to be looking at the data. So first of all, we're going to copy the state data. So now to do the state data, we're going to go to the very first line of geom, of the geom line. We're going to delete the data that says Meyer 90. And for me, I'm going to put bad bitch. Now for the bottom one, for this is going to be for national, we want bad bitch nat. It's going to be the same way. So on both lines, you want to copy the data. So this one is going to be bad bitch nat because it is on the bottom line. Up on the top, I'm just going to name it bad bitch. And that's, like I said, that's purely because I have all this stuff. So, again, Meyer 90. We're going to name it bad bitch. And then it's going to be bad bitch nat. And then you can keep hazard the same because it's named hazard anyway, so that's perfectly fine. But for week, we're going to change that. We're going to change that to year and make sure to have a capital Y because I think the data automatically, unless you did something different in Excel, you should have a capital Y, but just make sure the thing lines up. This is kind of where you can be creative. This is where you can be a little artistic. Like, oh my god, just like super like aesthetic. If you want to create like such a pretty graph, you can do that. This is, I put size 2. You do not have to put size 2. I put size 2 because I think it looks the best. And I did a couple different sizes to check. Size 2 looks the best. I would recommend it, but up to you. You can change the color of the lines. So if you want national to be, I'm gonna see if purple works. I don't know if it does, but we're gonna try it. If you want purple for national and you want, ooh, I don't even know, what color should we put? Somebody name a color. Anybody?
Blue.
Blue. You got it. Good stuff. Okay, cool. So now, once you've done all of this, highlight everything, click run. And plot nat was not found. Exactly. So this is why object plot nat. Okay, cool. So I'm going to delete the ampersand because I'm pretty sure it's causing problems. But don't need to worry about that one. All right. So as I keep fucking this up. Oh my god, Becky. Okay. Click run. There you go. This is your line. You have a purple and a blue line. If you want to name, if you want to do black and red, you could do that. I've tried red. If you want to do anything, any color, you pretty much have it. So don't really stress. This is part E. You do not need to save this graph. As far as I know, you do not need to save this graph. You don't need to export it as a PDF. You don't have to submit it. Because all they're asking you, and again, I'm guiding you through all of the RStudio, all of the Excel. There are questions to be answered. So make sure to go through the assignment, look at that, and check through that. But that's it. That's completely done for this part, for the hazard. And now we move on to the next part. So that's part A through E complete. So now we're looking for part F, which is please compute the survival function for each year of business in California. So now, basically from this point on, we're just copying and pasting everything we already have done. So what you need to do is you need to scroll. Is it down here? Let me double check. No, it's not. Okay. I think it's up here. Cool. So right underneath this plot hazard thing, you're going to have a thing that says Meyer 90 survival. I'm going to skip a bunch of lines so you guys can easily see it. You're going to have this thing that says Meyer 90 survival and all of this bullshit. Which is, actually, hold on. Okay, no, we should be fine. Okay. Okay. Give me 1 second. This is not like my finished product thing. I'm just looking to double check that I did this. Okay. Alright, so we should be looking good. Again, change Meyer 90. And now we're going to be looking at state. So make sure to change it for the state stuff. Again, mine is bad bitch. Yours might be something completely different. So mine's bad bitch here. Alright, so once you change all the Meyer 90s to bad bitch, you can keep the ones that say hazard, keep the ones that say survival. I know they don't say them yet, but don't worry. And then also make sure to change the M90 length to bad bitch length, or whatever your state length is. If you don't know what that is, you can check on the right side. Mine is literally bad bitch length. You know, if yours is state length, make sure to do that too. Cool. So what should be good is that you should basically, oh, also, so once you run this, you're going to get a survival function. It's going to be right over here. It's going to be underneath. You're going to be fine. You're going to get a lot of, when you run the ggplot stuff and you're running the geonline data, bad bitch, nat, and you have the $year, you're going to have a lot of these messages. The use of this is discouraged. Just use year instead. Don't listen to it. You can technically do it. The thing is, when you just type in year, they don't know what you're talking about. Because guess what? You have 2 sets of data that are named, that have a thing named year. Is it the same? Yeah. But the hazards are not the same. So make sure to always specify. If you're getting these messages of bad bitch dot year is discouraged, don't worry. Don't freak out. Just keep using the $ hazard and stuff, because it tells them exactly what data it's coming from. And it'll always compute you an answer. It's not going to not give you one. So don't freak out. You're also going to copy this hazard thing that or the survival function that we just did. You're going to copy and you're going to paste it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to change it so that we can get the same thing, but we're going to do national data. Again, change your bad bitch to bad bitch nat. Again, anything that's national or state, you want to change it to national. Same thing with the length as well. Make sure to change that.
Wait, I'm having a problem. When I ran the survival thing, it said error in state data length, object state data length not found. Am I doing something wrong?
Yeah, so that just means you haven't ran that the thing up here. So right here, line 13.
Oh, okay.
Make sure to run that. You don't necessarily have to. It's just to basically double check that your data is correct. I recommend doing it, and once you run that, you should get 5L. I mean, you might get something different now because it's going to be a little bit longer if you've been following along doing all this stuff. But don't freak out. As long as it's under 10, you're fine. But once you do the bad bitch length or the state and data,
my state data just kind of disappeared.
So like all of the data right over here. Oh, it might just be, you might just need to scroll up on the right.
It doesn't let me scroll or anything. Values there, it says state data 5L, but my state data just disappeared.
Interesting. So on my screen right here that you're looking at, does it show any of this, or is it all extended like this and it's like that?
Well, just my NAT data is all extended like that, but I used to have my state data right there, but as soon as I ran that the 5L thing, disappeared.
That's really weird. Okay, so have you tried running the survival function?
Let me do it again. Did, but let's see. It says error in state data length. Object state data length not found.
Cool. So again, here's what I'm gonna recommend you: exit out of R, don't save, restart. Like it's a stupidly simple fix, but also if you're getting little problems like that, that's usually like the only thing that you really can do. Because even though we just ran that line for you to create the length and it's still giving you that error, that just means it's not registering that you have it even done. So don't really worry about that. Just do all this, make sure to run all of the functions in the first place, choose the state data, options, length, make sure to include that. Then you could do the hazard, and then you go the same exact process for national, the thing that we've been doing this little whole time here.
All right, for sure.
Cool. And pretty much let us just know how that goes for you. And then again, what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to highlight the national survival, run that. You should get one right here that says national. You should get a thing that says survival, I'm sorry, underneath your national data. Cool. That takes care of G. So we've done F and G just right here in these two little lines. Now we're going to do the same thing for that we did up here, the plot stuff. We're going to do the same thing, except we're going to do for survival functions. So you can honestly copy that, paste it, and guess what? Everything's going to stay the same except for hazard. You're going to change hazard wherever it says that. You're going to change that to survival. Cool, so you're going to change that to survival. Also, when you go to the Y label, make sure to change hazard rate to survival rate. You can change the name of the thing. If you did hazard function before, do survival function. And also make sure when you have plot, make sure you change the hazard to survival. Cool. And what colors should we make this one? Something besides purple and blue. Purple, blue, and black. Let's change it up. Somebody name out a color. Orange. I like that. Let's see if they even have it. I actually haven't checked, so we're going to find out. Somebody name out another color. Come on, don't be shy.
Green.
Green. All right, perfect. So, cool. So now if we do this and if we've done it correctly and they have orange in their vocabulary, there you go. This is your data. This is your survival function graph. And this shows you how closely related they are. Now, again, I'm going to reiterate this. This is not the answer. This is part of it, but you do have to answer a question looking at this graph. And as far as I'm aware, you do not need to submit the graphs. All you need to do is talk about them and actually like give an answer for them. So that is that. And this is it. That's basically the end of it. There is another part to this, which is part I, which is please compute the difference in the number of firms year over year for California and nationwide. Compare them to the number of firm deaths in the data. Are they the same? What might be the differences? So, year over year. So it says right here, year 1 minus year 0, year 2 minus year 1, etc. for California and nationwide. The difference in the number of firms, and then compare them to the number of firm deaths. So basically, I mean, I'll kind of run through this just because in case you're looking at it, in case you're still super confused, it doesn't make any sense to you. I'm gonna basically pull up Excel here, and then we're gonna open up to our state data that we created. We're also going to open up Excel, but we're also going to open up to the national data that we created. So we want both the national and the state that we created personally. The one that we were doing earlier this morning, that's the one we're going to look at. Cool. So pretty much I can just guarantee this to you. So let me swap my screen on Discord because I know none of you can see it. Let me just go to my screen here, and this is what I want to share. Perfect. Can everybody see my screen? Just let me
Yeah,
know.
I see it.
Perfect. Thank you. Cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the state data first. It's not really important that you have to look at state data. It really doesn't matter, but we're just going to copy this little line of firm deaths. So you want to copy that, paste it here, and then you also want to get the... In all reality, what you can do in Excel is you can just compare the rates. So you can do... Click on 2014, but you're going to minus the 2013 firms created because that's the first part of our risk set. I know it's a little bit confusing, but the very first variable in the risk set is the amount of firms in 2013 that were created, which is the beginning number. Or actually, if you want, you could just, instead of doing, you just do that because it's the same thing. So you could look at this and you could look at the difference between these, this data. As I fuck it up, don't mind me. Cool. Actually, no, it's year 1 minus year 0. I'm not crazy. Okay, I was like... Cool, so anyway, once you do this, you're basically just looking at all the years prior. And then we're going to look at cool. So you can automatically see that the amount of businesses, so it looks like right here, these are the amount of businesses that died in between the years. So in 2014, there was 8,755 firm deaths. But the difference between firms created and between 2013 and 2014, there's a difference of about almost 12,000 businesses. So you can see that there's a big difference in the very first year of business that is not counted here. So there's something wrong, like there might be something wrong, but it says compute the difference, which would be these numbers right here. For California and nationwide, you're just going to do the same thing for the nationwide. It's nothing different. But you're also gonna, you want to compare them to the firm deaths in the data. Are they the same, and why might there be differences? So I can run you, they're not necessarily quite the same. A couple of them are. This one right here for year 2, or year 3 technically, was that actually, okay, so firm deaths in year 2, but also the, yeah, I can't speak. So this is honestly pretty close. It's not, I mean, it's still not the same, but it's pretty close. This one is a bit of a gap. This one is a little less of a gap, so this one's kind of close as well. This one's a bit different. Now, why that occurs, I'm honestly not really going to help. I don't really know. It could be for quite a few reasons, but even in the assignment, if you look at the Google or the doc that he shared for the assignment itself, there's also a glossary that he helps and links to, and it's the census's business dynamic statistics glossary. So if you look at that, that could probably also tell you for quite a bit of different reasons why firms close, etc. But that's pretty much what you're gonna do for I. There's really not much difference, and there's not much else that I could really tell you that would help that much. Now I want to make sure, can everybody, and I'm gonna change my window just in case you guys can't see it. Okay, cool. Is anybody having problems in R? Does anybody want me to just quickly run over everything? Are people having issues, error codes, anything else like that?
You recorded this, right?
I did
When
record
we
this.
started looking.
Yeah.
Do
So
you mind sending it out? Because I got lost at step 1, so I could read it.
you're fine. You're fine. I'll send it out.
Thank you.
I'll send it out. I'm gonna stop recording here pretty soon. Hopefully, it'll let me post it to Discord, and if not, then I will definitely come up with a way to send it out to you guys. Worst case scenario, if I can't do it here, low key might post it to YouTube. You know, that's just because I don't think I'll be able to send it personally either, just because it might be too big of a file. But we're gonna figure that out in a minute. But whoever wants me to email it, or whoever wants the video, message me. Just private message me. It makes it easier to like narrow it down for everybody. I'm gonna try to post it in the actual homework help thing, but again, if for some reason it just doesn't let me, then that's gonna be the way I'll send it out.
Okay, yeah, because I got lost at step 1, so
Oh, you're fine.
yeah.
So anyway, this is pretty much it. Is anybody else having issues, problems, concerns, dramas, worries, anything's not working for them, anything like that? Or is
Yeah,
it...
and I had to like my data disappeared. It keeps on doing that now every time I run everything, so I don't know what's going on with my R.
Yeah, that's really weird. Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay, so if yours is still disappearing, the one thing, are you attaching it at all? Just curious.
Yeah, I'm attaching everything.
Oh, okay, that's your problem.
Much like, yeah.
Yeah, so you do not want to attach a single thing in this one.
Okay, so you don't run the options. No?
So you can run the options, but never run attach. Because that attach thing, because since we're working with multiple data sets at the same time, then like that's gonna make, when you click attach, basically what it's doing is it's super gluing one set of data to your R. It's saying this is the only data that we're going to be using. So that's when you like I said, when you attach it, you're basically super gluing it to your date. Like that's the only data set you're using. But since we have to do multiple stuff, you don't want to attach it, because we want to be able to work fluidly between both sets. Okay. So if that's the thing that's running into errors, again, I recommend restarting R. It's a bitch and a half. I'm sorry to make you do it like 5 times, but try doing that. Also click, but just don't attach it, but run through everything else. See if that works, and then I'm just gonna quickly go over how to make your own R script for it. Again, we're gonna go up here to File, go to New File, click R script. You're gonna have an untitled thing that's gonna pop up, which is fine. And what we're gonna do, you're gonna copy all the risk set, hazard set, all this shit. Copy it, paste it, skip a couple lines. You wanna create the bad bitch CSV thing. Copy it. Underneath it, you wanna put options. Copy, paste. That's pretty much all creating a new file is basically just doing all this shit. You're just copying and pasting everything that we just did and edited. You're just doing that. Other cool thing is that if you want to make this easy on yourself, create a space in between the CSV file read, and then you can combine all of these into the same thing. You can run it at the same time, so you don't have to run each line individually. You can just highlight everything, run it, and then it'll all compute the data for you. But you're going to want to skip a couple lines. You're going to want to do the same thing. Honestly, you can pretty much copy everything up to that point. Click copy, click paste, and then for this one, you could just skip over that, and then yeah, so cool. So this is pretty much what it's gonna look like. You can also name it different things. If you want to name this part, if you want to name hazard part B, part D, part C, part national, like, you can name it however you feel. It's really up to you. It's a personal preference sort of thing. But make sure to also include install packages and library for the ggplot2, because whenever you close out of R, or if somebody was to open R for the very first time, they would have to install and do the library thing, because you're going to have to do it every time you restart R. And if you don't have that, you're not going to be able to plot this. And then pretty much the same thing. So right after we do that, now we have to do the survival rates for the, what's it called, for the state national, as well as plot them, which we've already done. Again, copy paste, you're done. Let me double check though. Let me just run through it. Please collect. So A and B are the Excel sheets that we created today. And I'm gonna quickly, I'm not gonna end the recording right this second. I am gonna quickly go over. If you want to stay for that, feel free. If you weren't here, but pretty much I'm just gonna go over that. So this recording has completely everything for you, and there's no parts left out. So pretty much A and B are the Excel sheets. C is going to be the hazard function, which is this part right here. Part D is hazard function for nationwide, which we have to do all this stuff, but it's going to be right here. So we have the hazard function for nationwide, and then we got to compute the thing there. Hazard function nationwide. All right, now we got to plot the stuff. So that's going to be right here for the hazard function. We have plotted it, and that's on the same graph. Cool. Again, there is a question to that, but F is going to be for survival function California, which is this part right here. Survival national right there, and then plot the survival function, which is right here. Cool. Everything is good. Everything is done. Once you do this, make sure to click once you create your own and everything looks good up to your liking, click the floppy disk, save it, name it whatever you like, name it assignment 5, name it Econ 340 assignment 5, whatever you feel like you want to name it that. But that's it. That's all of assignment 5. But like I said, this is not it. There is another part that, like I said, I kind of went over for the difference, but you still need to do that. So make sure to keep looking at that, answer all the other questions, but that's where it ends for R here. Yeah. And then I'm not gonna save my one that I just created personally because I already have mine. But yeah, that's, like I said, that's basically it. So, like I said, I'm gonna quickly go over this, and if you guys missed it, feel free to stick around. I'm gonna go over the Excel sheets. So I know Santos, I think it was you who said they were having trouble with the first part. This might help you quite a bit. So if you're lost, stick around. And if you're not, feel free to dip out. You can say goodbye. You can not say goodbye. You could just slowly sneak out. Feel free. It's no big deal to me. Cool. So we got national and we got state data. So I'm going to share my screen real quick for this one. Screen 1. Everybody see that?
Yeah, I see it.
Cool. So
for this, I have a MacBook, so when I download the files, it gives me a number. So that's why I was having a big issue trying to highlight and hide, because it won't open it in numbers. I mean, in Excel, it opens it in numbers.
Ooh, okay. Because I have a Mac, so I kind of know, but I don't know quite off the top of my head. Okay, so the best thing I can probably advise you to do is highlight the file that you want to click. So whenever you don't like open it, but just like click it once, right click on it, and then it'll say open with, and then see if Excel pops up as an option. And if Excel pops up as an option, open it with Excel. I can't really show you on my screen, but
you're good.
Actually, I think if I minimize both these and I bring over okay, cool. So if I bring this here, and then if I click on my file, I could say open, print, edit, share. I could say open with, and then it gives me a couple options. But I get WordPad, Notepad, and Excel. It's not going to look exactly like this. It's going to be a bit different, but you're only going to really have numbers here most likely. But if it has Excel, click that.
I'm gonna go to my downloads.
Oops, what the fuck is happening on my screen? Shit. Cool. So we're good on that.
Oh yeah, it does give me open with. I have to put it on my desktop.
Yeah, just try doing
And
that.
open with Excel.
Cool. So if that works for you, then even better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was just like trying to follow along, and I was like, I can't.
Nah, yeah, you're good. You're good. Trust me, it happens. As long as, like, low key, honestly, I don't know if you were following along in R at least like to name things and stuff like that. But if you were, then you don't even need to do anything. All you need to do is just make sure to create these Excel sheets, and then you're done. And if not, you can look back at this video. So you're fine.
And then I'll message you if you could send me the video, because I
Yeah.
got some stuff for the script, but I didn't get like all of it.
Yeah, no worries.
Because I was
Okay.
trying to.
Yeah, no problem. So, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But basically, here's what we're gonna do from this point. So you want to have the state and national data pulled up, but you also want to you want to create 2 new Excel sheets. You're gonna want to create one that's, well, both of them are gonna be blank, but basically, what you're gonna be doing is this. So, don't look at all the data. You're just gonna look at what I have, which is the blanks. You're gonna type in the year 2014 all the way to 2018. You're going to type in firms created, firm death, and risk set. These are the titles that you want. Again, if you want to name it something else, feel free. Doesn't matter. 2014 to 2018 are the years we're looking at. But now we're going to shift over to the big gigantic thing that says state data. I know it's a little daunting, but don't freak out. We need to look at states. We need to look at the state code here. We need to look at the one that says 6. But right now, I'm gonna click on E, or like column E, and I'm gonna highlight. I think it's all the way to column Y for state data. So I'm gonna highlight all the way to X. So all this stuff is highlighted. I'm gonna right click, and I'm gonna click hide. And then for Z and double A, I'm gonna click hide as well. That gives us the only 2 things that we need to look at. So it just makes it easier to look at. It makes it easier to compute. And then I'm going to highlight the second row, and I'm going to scroll all the way down. It's going to take a solid moment, but you want to scroll all the way down until you get to state code 6. I fucked up right there, so don't freak out. So once we get to 6, we want to go all the way up to 2013. So right at the end of 2012, for state 6, click that, click hide, and then that's it. We can hide. I hid more. Like, I hid everything afterwards, but you don't need to do that. It's not important. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create the risk set. So what you're going to do is you're going to be looking at the state data. You're going to be looking at row or column D for firms. In 2013, you want to look at year 0 or age 0, which this is firms that just opened up their shops within the first year. So opened up their shops, and these are the amount of businesses that were created. So we want to add this to our risk set. Now that's for year 0. We're going to go all the way to year 5. So we're going to go to 2014, and we're not going to look at year 0. We're going to look at year 1. Again, you want to look at the firms, copy and paste that into our risk set. We're going to go to 2015. We're going to look at year 2. We're going to go over here. We're going to paste that. We're going to look at 2016. We're going to look at year 3. Paste that. 2017. We're going to be looking at year 4. And then, last but not least, we're going to go to 2018, year 5. We're going to copy that, and we're going to paste it. So now you're going to have a bunch of this, and this looks kind of weird, right? Especially because we have one that's not technically there. What you're going to do is you're going to highlight everything from 41 or from 2015 on the risk set all the way down to the one that's hanging off. You're going to grab this little dot down here in the corner. Once you highlight those cells, you're going to pull it over to the right or to the left, doesn't matter. It's going to duplicate them. You want to highlight just the ones that you duplicated, and you want to move it over to firms created, and then you can delete the one that was hanging off. And that's how you quickly and easily do the firms created and the risk set. For the firm death, you're going to do the same thing of how we got the risk set information, except you're going to look at firm deaths firms, which is the column Y that we were looking at in the state data. But you're not going to look at year 0. You're going to go straight to 2014, year 1. You'd be copying that, pasting it. 2015, we'd be looking at year 2. Copy that, paste it. 2016, we'd be looking at year 3. Copy that, paste that. 2017, we're going to be looking at year 4. Copy, paste, and then 2018, year 5. There you go. And that's it. That's how you do this. That's how you get this information. Yeah, and that's it. It'll be the same thing as what I have here, but I'm just going to delete the one that I just made for you because I already have it. So once you're done with that, save it, but make sure to save it as a CSV file. I know it's weird because you can't really open it nice and fluidly, but don't stress out. You want to save it as a CSV file. If you don't know how to do that, or if you don't know what file it's in, click File, click Save As, and then it'll automatically pop up this thing, and you can create the different format that you want, but you want CSV. Mainly because if you don't do it, you'll get problems in R, and R just won't work at all. It's really weird, but I had that problem happen to me. So make sure to save that when you're done. You can exit out of it. Same thing with the state data. You can exit out of it whenever you're done. Now we have the national data. You want to do basically the exact same thing. I'm going to highlight columns D all the way through Y. Or no, sorry, W. Because X in this case is where the actual thing that we need is. It's not going to be in column Y. But for national data, we're going to highlight all that. We're going to click Hide. The last 2 columns, I'm going to do the same thing. But this time, we don't need to go by state data or state code. I'm just going to highlight cell 2 all the way to 2012. Once I get to 2012, I'm going to click Hide, and then that's it. We have all the data that we need. So for firms created, or we're going to do risk set again because it's the same thing. So 2013, we're going to look there. That's going to be the first value on the risk set for year 0 or age 0. 2014 for age 1. For 2015 for age 2. For 2016 for year 3, I apologize. For 2017 for year 4. And then we're going to be looking at 2015 for year 5. And again, you're going to have one that's not really on there. And then you want to copy it. And then you're going to move that over. Delete the hanging one. Sorry, I know that was a bit quick, but basically, you're just going to want everything except the first one. All for the firms created. And then firm death is the exact same way. Nothing really too different, but you're not going to start in 2013. You're just going to start in 2014 at age 1. So you're going to do that. You're going to go 2015 age 2. 2016 age 3. 2017 age 4. And 2018 age 5. And this is all for deaths, by the way. Okay. Cool. So then once you do that, that's complete and you're done. I'm going to delete this. You do not do that. Once you have this, make sure again this part is named and recorded and saved as a CSV file. Cannot stress that enough. Make sure it's saved as a CSV file. Once you save it, and this is all the stuff you have on it, exit out of that, and you're done. And then you go into R, and then you complete everything we've been doing so far. So, sorry, looking at you now, Dandy. I guess he's gone now, so, but that's pretty much it. Like I said, you don't really, my screen is now on my home screen. I'm just gonna stop streaming because there's really not much else left to do. Thanks. What do we need to submit for the assignment then? So what we need to see, okay, so as far as I can understand it and as far as I can think about it, we're going to download and submit the Excel files. We're going to also submit probably a Word document or whatever else you want to put for the answer to the questions, as well as our R script. We want to make sure to probably include all of that. But yeah, that's pretty much. I'm just going to type back to him in a minute, but I'm actually going to stop the recording here